And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Okay, well, on Sunday, daylight saving time begins March 10th, and that's when we lose the hour that we gained last fall in November. So turn the clock ahead 1 hour Sunday morning. And from there, there's a high or a wind chill warning out for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast. Here through the weekend for wind chills as cold as 80 degrees below zero there, with gusty west winds up to about 25, maybe 30 miles per hour expected. And a wind chill advisory here, Anatuvik Pass there down to the south into the northern Koyukuk Valley for wind chills to 55 degrees below zero. And out here in the west, also a wind chill advisory out Seward Peninsula in toward the Selkirk Valley, Kotzebue, on up into the NOAA Valley areas and down to Unalakleet and possibly Stebbins and St. Michael. And that's for wind chills 45 to 55 degrees below zero. Satellite imagery showing a pretty wound up but rapidly weakening low pressure center here over the western Aleutians that brought gale force winds with gusts of 60 miles per hour earlier today for Shimei and Attu. And the front stretching out, weakening as it pushes eastward here, with some precipitation moving into the eastern Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula, just clouds for the Pribilof Islands today. And to the east here, another strong storm moving northward here, and that brought those 40 to 60 mile per hour winds to the panhandle from south to north, and the rain and snow in some areas like around Haines, they picked up several inches. Juneau had a peak wind gust, I believe, 56 miles per hour. And let's see, rainfall amounts today range from 3/4 of an inch at Sitka to nearly an inch at Hoonah. And winds starting to come down now as the low weakens, and that's going to be pulling westward and continuing to weaken. See a band of clouds here pulling westward, mostly mid and high level clouds here over the Prince William Sound area on up in toward the southeast interior, but some light snow as well. Delta Junction carried some light snow and areas of that up toward Eagle, and cold on the north slope with mostly clear skies here, also over the western interior out to the northern Bering Sea. A lot of clear skies going on there down into Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, Cook Inlet, Kenai Peninsula into the Susitna Valley today, with some, again, high stuff coming into the Manuska Valley and over the Copper River Basin. And rolling, or actually for today, here's the location of the front out to the west here, stretching out as it slides off to the east and southeast. New low center developing here will continue off to the southeast. Main low back to the west, weakening as we saw in the satellite imagery. Cold northeast winds here over the northern Bering Sea all the way down into Bristol Bay and Kodiak Island, seeing some breezy conditions starting to develop, but nothing too strong. Then this low center in the Gulf of Alaska we'll see tonight pulls westward and continues to slowly weaken. That's going to pull a chance of snow across Prince William Sound, maybe areas of the southern Copper River Basin, areas of snow possible here in the east side of the state. And conditions improve pretty good here over the panhandle. Winds really coming down and precipitation becoming lighter, especially more showery down toward the southern southeast coast. Snow showers along the Alaska Peninsula persisting. Variably cloudy skies for Kodiak, and still looking at gusty northeast winds here. Cold temperatures along the southwest coast, northern Bering Sea area, and quite cold temperatures up into the North Slope area here. And this front stalling out as it continues to weaken right across the eastern Aleutians there. So periods of rain and snow will continue there, and some of that might slip into the Pribilof Islands in the form of snow. This low continues to weaken and fill with the winds dramatically diminishing over the western Aleutians. And then for tomorrow, this is all that's left of that system, just a weak trough there. Some of that moisture will link up with this next system, so look for rain and snow into Adak and Atka. It dries out over the eastern Aleutians. Alaska Peninsula looking good. Clouds for the Pribilof Islands. Mostly clear skies here over the southwest coast. Northern Bering Sea, as you can see, right up into and along the Yukon River Valley. Just some clouds in the Kuskokwim Valley, and maybe a few clouds on the North Slope and the Arctic coast, but generally dry conditions up that way. And this trough here, areas of light snow, chance of snow tomorrow afternoon into northern Cook Inlet down to possibly as far south as Kenai, maybe Soldotna, and better chance though in Turnagain Arm, Turnagain Pass in those areas into Prince William Sound, some light snow along the North Gulf Coast, and drying out with some weak high pressure over the Panhandle. And for Sunday, this low actually continues to slide a little to the west there, and it pushes another chance of snow up into Prince William Sound. Still a chance of snow, mainly in the morning hours for northern Cook Inlet, but the moisture here kind of banking up along the western Alaska Range there. Chance of snow into Homer, Seldovia area now, but still dry for Kodiak Island. And gusty winds starting to pick up here over the interior and off to the southeast here as cold air continues to pour south and southwestward into the Bering Sea, all the way south now to the eastern Aleutians, and keeping this front down to the south here, rain and snow with a warm front into the main low center back there west of Chimianatu. Cold, dry conditions, light winds all the way up to the North Slope and most of the Arctic coast. And for the lows tonight, anywhere from 25 to 40 below again for the North Slope and Arctic coast, and temperatures ranging from 5 to 30 below over the central interior, with 10 to 20 below readings here for the Seward Peninsula and the St. Lawrence Island, and 0 to 10 below for the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, 0 to 10 for Bristol Bay overnight lows, mid-20s Kodiak Island, and teens south central Alaska near 0 in the Copper River Basin, lower 30s for the Aleutians, lower 30s for the northern Panhandle, with mid to upper 30s down to the south and out toward the west. And then highs tomorrow, lower to mid 40s southern Panhandle, and upper 30s to near 40 in the north there. Otherwise 20s for the Copper River Basin, and 25 to 30 south central Alaska, staying below 0 or a little above actually either side of 0 for the Tanana Valley. Call it 10 for Fairbanks and over toward Delta Junction, also an Air Force Base, and well below 0 Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast, and looks like lows in the teens for Bristol Bay, upper 20s for the Alaska Peninsula. And the lows on Sunday morning, anywhere from 35 to 50 below for the North Slope and the Arctic coast, coldest over the North Slope there, with below 0 readings again, anywhere from 10 below in the east here to 25 to 35 below. Back toward the western central part of the state, with below 0 readings now all the way down into Bristol Bay along the southwest coast, and of course St. Lawrence Island down into the mid-teens for the Pribilofs, 20s for the eastern Aleutians, and 20 for Kodiak. Lows about upper teens to near 20 here with the clouds, keeping the temperatures up from what they otherwise would be here for south central Alaska, and above 0 for the Copper River Basin. Lows lower 30s northern Panhandle, and mid to upper 30s to the south. That'll be followed by highs again, much like tomorrow, 30s and 40s for the Panhandle, mid-20s Copper River Basin, in the 20s south central Alaska, including Homer down to Kodiak, and anywhere from 10 to 15 for Bristol Bay. Some areas a little colder, near 0 along the southwest coast here up to St. Lawrence Island, near 20 for the Pribilofs, and again 0 to 10 for the eastern interior areas. Low below 0 to the west, and well below 0 for the North Slope to the Arctic coast.